She noticed him first by the sound, a soft scrape on pavement. When she turned, the sight froze her. A puppy, barely old enough to stand, ribs pressing through patchy fur. One paw dragged behind him with every step. He stared at her with eyes too old for his small body, eyes that had seen things no animal should. "Go home," she whispered, waving him off. But the puppy only limped closer. She walked faster. So, did he? By the time she reached her gate, he was there too, collapsing at her feet. Something inside her cracked. She opened the gate, and for the first time that day, his tail flickered. That night, she tried to forget him. But outside her window, he whined, soft broken, like a child crying in sleep. She opened the curtains. His little body curled on the cold ground. Her heart ached. Maybe tomorrow she'd ask her parents if he could stay. Maybe she could save him. But then his head snapped up, his body stiffened. He growled at the darkness, teeth bared, and in the glow of the porch light, his eyes didn't look like a puppy's at all. What would you have done? Would you let him in or send him away? Don't forget to subscribe. The puppy didn't leave. When morning came, he was still there, curled by the steps like he belonged to her already. His fur was damp with dew, his bones sharp against the skin. He looked up when she opened the door, tail twitching once, twice, then falling still as if even wagging hurt. Breakfast. Her mother called from inside, but the girl crouched on the steps, looking at him. She slipped him a piece of toast in her pocket. Later, a strip of bacon. He devoured both in seconds, teeth scraping her fingers in his hunger. It wasn't the gentle nibble of a pet. It was survival. Her mother frowned when she noticed crumbs missing from the plate. Don't feed strays, Emma. They never leave once you start. Emma said nothing. She couldn't, because when she looked into his eyes, she felt something she couldn't explain, like he'd chosen her, and letting him starve was unthinkable. That night, she tried again to coax him inside. She set a blanket by her bed, patted it softly, but the puppy stayed outside the door, body rigid, ears sharp. No amount of pleading would move him. Instead, he circled the yard, limping, pausing, listening. Every shadow made him bristle. Every creak in the wind made him growl low. Deep in his chest, a sound too large for such a small body. Emma pressed her face to the glass. He wasn't resting. He was guarding. Later, she woke to a noise. Scratching. Metal against wood. She sat up, heart pounding. The puppy was at the fence, fur raised, teeth bare at something she couldn't see. His growl carried into her room. Her father stormed in, robe hanging loose, voice sharp. "That much keeping us up all night." Emma pointed to the window. "Something's out there. He hears it." Her father looked, sighed. The yard was still, empty, nothing but raccoons. That dog's trouble. Tomorrow, we'd take him to the shelter. No. The word leapt out before she could stop it. Her father stared, surprised at her defiance. "You don't even know him," he said softly. Emma swallowed, eyes burning. "I think I do." But when her father left, she stayed awake long after, listening to the puppy pacing, his limping steps, his restless turns, guarding, always guarding. The next day, she brought him more food, an old sandwich, scraps of chicken, anything she could hide. He ate everything like a vacuum, growling at shadows even as he chewed. When she reached for him, he froze, muscles stiff. He didn't trust her touch yet. "Who hurt you?" she whispered. He only licked the ground where crumbs had fallen. That night, the noises came again. Scratches, a faint rattle at the gate. This time, Emma swore she saw movement in the dark, a shadow pulling back just as the puppy lunged. The growl he made was different. Not fear, warning. He pressed himself against the gate, teeth bared, every ounce of weakness in him forgotten. Emma's heart raced. Someone had been there, watching, testing the fence. Her father didn't believe her. "It's varmints," he insisted. "He's just making you nervous. That's why the dog has to go." But Emma knew, in the stillness of her room, she could still hear the sound of metal on wood. Too deliberate for an animal. Too human. She lay in bed, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. Outside, the puppy circled, limping, growling, refusing to rest. He was more than a stray. He was protecting something. He was protecting her. And she couldn't let him go. The attack happened on a Thursday evening. Emma was finishing her homework at the kitchen table when the sound ripped through the air, violent barking, sharper than she'd ever heard from him. She shot up, nearly knocking over her chair. The dog was outside again, in his usual spot by the fence. But this time he wasn't pacing. He was lunging, snarling, his little body slamming against the wood, as if to break it down. Emma rushed to the window. At first she saw nothing but darkness. Then movement, a figure at the far edge of the yard. Someone tall, still, watching, her breath caught. The puppy didn't hesitate. He hurled himself at the fence again, teeth flashing white, growl vibrating through the boards. The figure shifted, a crunch of gravel, then gone. Emma yanked the back door open. Cold air stung her face as she ran toward him. He was trembling all over, chest heaving, his injured paw dragging the dirt. He kept staring at the place where the figure had been, his growl low, almost mournful now. "It's okay," she whispered, kneeling. "He's gone. You're safe." When she reached for him, her fingers brushed fur and stopped. There was a mark on his shoulder, bare skin where the fur had been torn away long ago. The wound had healed into a hard, twisted scar, circular, deep. Her stomach tightened. She had never seen anything like it. "Who did this to you?" she murmured. As if in answer, he flinched. His eyes darted to her hand. His body stiffened. And before she could pull away, his teeth snapped shut around her wrist. Emma gasped. Pain flared hot. The bite wasn't deep, but blood welled instantly. She pulled back with a cry. The dog staggered away from her, ears flat, tail tucked. His chest rose and fell in frantic bursts. He wasn't snarling now. He was shaking. As if terrified of what he'd just done, Emma clutched her wrist, blood dripping onto the dirt. "Emma!" Her mother's voice sliced through the night. Her parents came running, faces pale at the sight. Her mother grabbed her arm, eyes wide. "He bit you?" "It's nothing," Emma tried, her voice trembling. "Nothing." Her mother's voice rose, panic sharp. "He could have rabies. He could be sick. That dog is dangerous." "No." Her father's face hardened. "That's it. Tomorrow, he goes to the shelter. End of story." Emma looked at the puppy. He was crouched low against the fence, eyes wide, chest shaking, not attacking, not vicious, just broken. She wiped the blood on her jeans, swallowing the sting. He didn't mean it. Her mother spun on her. "Emma, look at you. He bit you. What if it was your face? What if it was a child?" "He was scared," Emma whispered. "That's all. He was scared." Her father's jaw set. "Enough. He's gone." No one spoke the rest of the night. Emma sat on her bed, her wrist throbbing under the bandage. She replayed the moment again and again. The scar on his shoulder, the way he'd trembled after. His eyes, haunted, almost apologetic. Not malice, not aggression. Fear. Her chest tightened. Something had been done to him. Something he couldn't forget. Outside her window, he lay curled near the gate, nose on his paws, watching the dark. The same place where the figure had stood. He was protecting her. Even after biting her. Even after being hated by everyone else in the house. He hadn't left. And Emma knew then. Something was terribly wrong with him. Something deeper than hunger or pain. Something that tied him to the shadows in her yard. And no matter what her parents said, she couldn't let him go. Emma wrapped her wrist in another bandage the next morning, hiding the bite beneath her sweater sleeve. It stung when she moved, but she refused to let anyone see her flinch. Her parents had made their decision. The shelter. Tomorrow. All day. Dread hung over her like a storm cloud. At school, she couldn't concentrate. She scribbled notes, but her mind replayed the scar on the puppy's shoulder. The way he shook after snapping at her. The way his eyes followed the shadows. During lunch, she heard something that made her stop mid-bite. Two older boys at the table behind her were whispering. She hadn't meant to listen until she caught a word that made her blood run cold. Dogs. Emma went still. They found another last week. Skin and bones. Scars all over. From that old fighting pit on the edge of town. A low laugh. Half of them never made it out, but a couple did. They say some are still roaming, hiding. Dangerous. Emma's stomach twisted. The scar, the fear, the hunger, it all fit. Her puppy, he hadn't been born wild. He'd been made that way. Hurt, broken, shaped by cruelty she couldn't even imagine. She didn't eat another bite. When she got home, the puppy limped to her as he always did, cautious, hungry, eyes pleading. She knelt and stroked him, ignoring the ache in her wrist. "It wasn't your fault," she whispered. "None of this was your fault." That night, her parents argued in the kitchen. She heard the words dangerous, shelter, and liability over and over. Emma closed her door against them. She pressed her face to the window. The puppy was at his usual post near the gate, his body tense, head low, ears pricked, guarding, always guarding. The night was quiet, too quiet. Then she heard it, a rumble, low, growing louder. Headlights swept across her wall. A truck slowed in front of their house. Emma's pulse leapt. She peeked through the curtain. The truck stopped at their gate. The engine idled. The puppy rose instantly. His body stiffened. His lips curled, teeth flashing in the dark. A growl rumbled out of him, deeper than before. Emma's breath caught. The driver didn't step out. The engine just sat there, humming, watching. The puppy moved closer to the gate, his growl swelling. His injured paw dragged, but he forced himself forward, standing between the truck and the house. Emma couldn't see the driver's face, just a shadow behind the wheel. The window cracked open. A flicker of smoke curled out into the night. The puppy barked once, loud and sharp. The engine roared back to life. The truck pulled away, taillights vanishing down the road. Emma sagged against the glass. Relief washed through her, but it didn't last. Someone had been watching their house. Not an accident, not a raccoon, a man, and the puppy had known. She lay in bed, wide awake, listening to him pace the fence long after the truck disappeared. His growls faded to soft whines, but he never rested. His eyes never left the dark. The next morning, she confronted her parents at breakfast. "Someone came last night," she said. "A truck. It stopped at our gate." Her father lowered his paper, probably lost. "No," Emma snapped. He knew. He was watching. That's why he won't sleep inside. He's not afraid of us. He's afraid of them. Her mother shook her head. "Emma, this has gone too far. You're bleeding for this dog. You're not sleeping. You're scaring yourself." "I'm not scared," Emma whispered. Her hands trembled anyway. Her father sighed. "We'll talk about it tonight." But Emma knew what that meant. They weren't changing their minds. That evening, she sat outside with him, stroking the rough fur along his back, feeling each rib. His body was a map of pain he couldn't tell her about. "Did you run away?" she asked softly. "Did you escape?" The puppy licked her fingers, eyes full of something she couldn't name. She stayed with him until the sky darkened, and when the truck came back, she was ready. The rumble of the engine reached her before the headlights. The puppy was already up, already growling. This time, she didn't hide behind the glass. She stood with him, hand gripping the collar of her hoodie, pulse pounding her ears. The truck stopped again, silent, watching. The puppy barked, fur bristling. He strained toward the gate, every muscle trembling. Emma's knees shook, but she held her ground. Whoever was out there, whoever wanted him, would have to face both of them. The truck didn't move. Seconds dragged. The engine hummed. Then a door creaked open. A boot hit the gravel. Someone was coming. The puppy bared his teeth, planted himself between Emma and the dark. The boots crunched closer. Gravel shifted. Then another door slammed. A second man stepped out of the truck. Emma froze, heart hammering. One of them leaned on the gate, face shadowed under the brim of a cap. "Evening," he drawled. His voice was too casual, too smooth. The puppy lunged, snapping inches from the man's hand. The growl tore through the night. The man didn't flinch. He smirked. That's ours. Emma blinked. What? The dog. His voice hardened. He ran from us. We've been looking. Her stomach turned. She glanced at the scar on the puppy's shoulder, at the way his body trembled as he pressed against the gate, shielding her. He's not yours, she whispered. The second man stepped forward. Taller, rougher. His eyes glinted in the porch light. You don't know what you've got there, girl. That dog's dangerous. Best thing is we take him off your hands before he hurts someone. Behind her, the door opened. Her father came out, her mother close behind. What's going on? Her father demanded. They say he's theirs, Emma said quickly. Her father's eyes flicked between the men, the truck, the trembling dog. This true? The taller man nodded. He's been trained. Nasty one, this. You don't want him near your kids. Safer if we put him down. Emma's chest clenched. No. Her father shot her a warning look. His jaw tightened. He didn't answer right away. The silence stretched. The puppy pressed harder against the gate, a low rumble vibrating through him. Emma saw the doubt in her father's eyes. He wanted to protect his family, to make this threat vanish. But he also saw the way she was standing there, shaking but unyielding, hand curled in the fur of the dog who had chosen her. The men shifted. Impatience flickered in their faces. The taller one stepped closer, fingers brushing the latch of the gate. Don't, Emma whispered. He grinned. Or what? The latch clicked, and then the puppy exploded forward. With a snarl so fierce it startled even Emma, he launched himself at the gate, slamming it open. He hit the man square in the chest, teeth snapping inches from his throat. The man stumbled back, cursing, arms flailing. Chaos erupted. Her mother screamed. Her father shouted. The men swore as they tried to shove the dog off. But he was wild, unstoppable, every ounce of fear and rage pouring out his small body. Emma darted forward. Stop. Don't hurt him. The shorter man reached into his coat. Emma's breath caught. Something glinted in his hand. Her father lunged, grabbing the man's wrist. They struggled, the object clattering to the ground. A length of chain. The taller man cursed, swinging an arm at the puppy. The blow missed, but the dog only came back harder, teeth sinking into the man's sleeve. Blood speckled the dirt. Get him off, the man roared. Emma, inside, her father shouted. But she couldn't move. She couldn't leave him. The puppy released the man just long enough to plant himself in front of Emma, snarling, hackles raised, his injured paw dragging but his stance unbreakable. Her chest heaved. For the first time, she saw not a starving stray, not a broken animal, but a fighter, one who had chosen to fight for her, not against her. The taller man backed toward the truck, clutching his bleeding arm. His eyes were wild. He's ruined now. Worthless. The shorter one spat. Not worth the trouble. They scrambled into the truck, doors slamming shut. The engine roared. Gravel spat as they tore down the road, disappearing into the night. Silence fell. Emma dropped to her knees beside the puppy. His chest heaved, blood on his teeth, but his eyes were on her. Soft, afraid she might push him away now. She wrapped her arms around him. No, she whispered. You're mine. You're safe now. Her father stood frozen by the gate, breathing hard. His eyes shifted from Emma to the truck's fading taillights, to the blood on the dirt. He knew now. This was bigger than a stray dog. Her mother's voice shook. We have to call the police. Her father nodded slowly. Yes, and the shelter can wait. This isn't over. Emma pressed her face into the dog's matted fur, feeling his body shudder against hers. He had made his choice, and so had she. The police came before dawn. Red and blue lights flashed across the yard, bathing the house in color. Officers took statements, walked the ground, examined the chain the man had dropped. Emma stood shivering on the porch, the puppy pressed against her legs. Her father's voice was grim as he spoke with the sheriff. Words floated back to her. Illegal ring, fighting dogs, known trouble. Her mother wrapped a blanket around her shoulders, but Emma barely felt it. Her eyes stayed on the puppy. His body was trembling, his breath shallow. The fight had drained him. His paw bled where he'd torn against the gravel. His ribs heaved like bellows. When the sheriff finally nodded and drove away, her father turned to them. His face looked older somehow. They're not coming back. They'll be arrested before the day's out. Relief washed over Emma, then vanished as the puppy sagged at her feet. His body crumpled. "Dad!" she cried. He didn't hesitate. He scooped the small body into his arms. "Car. Now!" The drive to the vet was a blur. Emma sat in the back, cradling the puppy's head in her lap. His eyes fluttered, half closed, still trying to stay awake, still guarding her, even now. "Stay with me," she whispered, stroking his scarred shoulder. "You're safe now. Please stay." The vet met them at the door, eyes sharp but kind. They whisked him away on a stretcher. Emma tried to follow, but her mother's hand held her back. "You need to let them work." Hours passed in the waiting room. The clock ticked too loud. Emma couldn't sit. She paced. She stared at the blood on her jeans. She prayed to a God she wasn't sure she believed in. Finally, the vet came out. Emma bolted to her feet. "Is he?" "He's alive," the vet said. His voice was calm but heavy. "Weak, exhausted, malnourished, but alive." Emma's knees nearly gave out. Her mother steadied her. "Can I see him?" she whispered. The vet nodded. They walked through the sterile hall to a quiet room. The puppy lay on a blanket, for lines taped to his leg. His chest rose and fell, slow but steady. His eyes opened when he heard her. Emma knelt beside him, tears slipping free. "Hey!" she whispered. "I'm here." The vet crouched beside her. "You know what he is, don't you?" Emma looked up, wiping her face. The vet's gaze softened. "He was trained for fighting. I've seen scars like this before, on dogs using the rings." He gestured gently toward the twisted mark on the puppy's shoulder. Emma's chest tightened. "They said he was dangerous." The vet shook his head. "If he'd been broken, he'd be gone by now. But he didn't break. Not all the way. Some dogs, they hang on to their loyalty, even when men try to beat out of them." Emma's hand trembled as she stroked his head. "He's not dangerous." "No," the vet agreed softly. "He's extraordinary. He chose to protect, not attack. That tells me who he really is." Emma bent low, her forehead resting against the puppy's fur. He sighed, his eyes closing again. Her father's voice was quiet behind her. "Emma?" She turned. He looked tired, conflicted, but his gaze fell on the dog with something close to respect. "He saved you," he said. "Saved all of us." Emma nodded fiercely. "We can't let them take him. Not after this. Not ever." Her mother hesitated. "He'll need care. Food. Patience." Emma's voice broke. "I'll give him everything. I promise." Silence stretched. Then her father let out a long breath. "All right." Emma blinked. "You mean?" He nodded. "We'll keep him. He belongs here now." Her mother sighed, but her eyes softened. "If he's yours, he's family." Emma looked back at the puppy. He stirred weakly, his paw twitching. She stroked him, her tears falling onto his fur. "Chance," she whispered. Her father frowned. "What?" "His name," Emma said. "He deserves one. Chance. Because that's what he never got until now." The puppy's ear flicked at the sound, as if he understood. Emma stayed by his side the whole night. She dozed in the chair, her hand never leaving his back. When dawn finally broke, golden light spilling through the blinds, she was still there. The puppy opened his eyes again, brighter this time, stronger. He lifted his head, just enough to lick her wrist where the bandage lay. Emma laughed softly through her tears. "You're forgiven," she whispered. Later that morning, they walked out of the vet's office together. Her father carried the paperwork. Her mother carried food. And Emma held the leash. Chance limped beside her, weak but steady. His tail wagged once and again, as if testing joy for the first time. The sun was warm on their faces. The road stretched ahead, bright and endless. Emma looked down at him, her chest aching with love. "You're home now." And together, the girl and the one stray puppy walked into the light.